Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video, and this is a paid request for Aaron, another Tales from the Crypt episode. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thought streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, or full playthrough, tier list, ranking, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. I do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. So this is for Tales from the Crypt, Yellow, which I know I've seen before, and I don't remember how I saw it, but this is one of those episodes of Tales from the Crypt that was actually 40 minutes long. Because I guess the idea behind this was it was going to be part of some other show that, like, there was a pilot, and it was going to be kind of like Tales from the Crypt, but maybe more like suspense and not quite bloody horror. But I think it was like William Sadler, who played Death on Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. He was the bad guy in Die Hard 2. He would have been the host, like an undead gunslinger or something. Or anyway, it never was picked up or anything. And I think there was some movie, like anthology, and this was put in there, or maybe, I don't know. The detail is a bit hazy. I can't remember, but eventually this was put here as a 40-minute episode. I was saying before where I had also reviewed an All Through the House, the Robert Zemeckis episode where Larry Drake was Santa Claus. It's the stuff you would see in Lethal Weapon 2 when they're looking for the daughter's commercial, and you see snippets of a killer Santa Claus in Lethal Weapon 2. That was the episode, and I liked it, but I wish it was a bit longer. I kind of wish that was the 40-minute episode, and this was the 20-minute episode, because I don't know if it needed all 40 minutes, but, you know, it is what it is. But this also is directed by Robert Zemeckis, and you got Kirk Douglas, of course. Great actor, may he rest in peace, from Spartacus and all sorts of stuff. You have his son, Eric Douglas, which is interesting. Because Eric Douglas, you didn't really see him a whole lot of other stuff. Dan Aykroyd is in this, as well as Lance Henriksen. And the idea is they take place in 1918. The war is going on. They're taking heavy casualties. Lance Henriksen is this Sarge, and he and the others have been told to keep going no matter what. But Eric Douglas, the lieutenant, and the son of the commander, Kirk Douglas, says, we need to retreat. We didn't get those orders. Well, I'm telling you now, we're retreating. So they retreat. Kirk Douglas and his subordinate Dan Aykroyd, they're wondering why are people retreating. Lance has to tell your son ordered the retreat, and then he doesn't want to admit because he doesn't want to insult his commander, but says, well, your son's a bit yellow, sir, as in a coward. Now, granted, this is kind of like what they're doing with, what they did with Paths of Glory that Kirk Douglas starred in. Does saving your own life really mean cowardice? Like, can you really blame someone for saying, listen, if we go in there, we're going to die. It's not going to prove anything. So let's go back. At least we'll be alive and for another day. So can you really blame Eric Douglas's character for that? Some view it as cowardice, and you kind of have that little back and forth. So then it leads to, well, our phone line is down. We need to go somewhere to repair the phone lines. You, Eric Douglas, and you, Lance Henriksen, and a team are going. Lance is like, I don't want this guy. You don't do it anyway. That's what Kirk Douglas says. So they go, and Lance Henriksen does, listen, I know you don't want to go out there, but you whistle if you spot the enemy. And Eric Douglas is like, well, wait a minute, but they'll know where I'm at. Listen, this is your job. You're the lieutenant. So they go to repair the phones. Eric Douglas sees the enemy, but he doesn't blow the whistle because he's too scared. Now this is a bit of cowardice because you could have warned them, but instead they get killed while you don't blow the whistle and you run away. And then you make up a lie and said, oh, I killed some of the enemy. And then Lance Henriksen gets in, he's bleeding from his gut, and he's like, he didn't blow the whistle, and he didn't kill anybody, and he's yellow. And he dies of his wounds. Kirk Douglas, let me see your weapon. This is spoilers, sorry. Heavy spoilers. Let me see your weapon. Oh, you didn't fire your weapon at all. Arrest this guy for treason, for all sorts of stuff. You let your fear get the better of you. Yeah, I'm afraid to die. And you have this nice scene. I mean, Eric Douglas is fine. He's definitely no Michael Douglas. And I will admit, part of me wished it was Michael Douglas, because I think that would have been even more interesting. To have Michael Douglas in this. But Eric Douglas does fine, to be fair. He does fine. Kirk Douglas does a good job as always. And one thing leads to another. Kirk Douglas says, listen, they don't have a firing squad. I'll make you a deal. I'll put blanks in all of them. You pretend to fall. There'll be a pack for you. You get the hell out. The day comes. He shows courage and gives his big speech, apologizing for his actions. Realizes that his father lied to him too late. Gets killed. Falls down. And Dan Aykroyd, not knowing what was going on, saying, he showed courage. Yes, my son is not yellow. So for Kirk Douglas to show the world that his son is not a coward, which would reflect on him, was more important than his son's life. And that's supposed to give you a bit of food for thought. Which it does. I mean, the war scenes in 1918, for the budget they had, looked fine enough. Always great to see Lance Henriksen. I'm a huge Lance Henriksen fan. Bishop, he played in Aliens. He was in The Terminator. He was in Hard to Target. He was in Stone Cold. A lot of great movies. Wonderful actor. Millennium, which I love that show, deserves a Blu-ray. And then, again, Kirk Douglas does a good job. Again, do I think it needed 40 minutes? I mean, it didn't bother me a whole lot, but at the same time, I mean, to be fair, it didn't bother me a whole lot. I wish there were some episodes, other episodes that got 40 minutes as well. But I guess because I had seen this before, so I knew where it was going, so I can't really tell you how surprised I was or anything by the ending. I think when you watch Tales from the Crypt, you kind of expect there's going to be some kind of twist. So that could kind of ruin things in a surprise way. Just to repeat, you expect a twist because it's Tales from the Crypt. So you know there's going to be something about it that's going to be, shifted at the end. And so you're waiting for it. And since you're waiting for it, then are you as surprised and shocked when it happens? The grant's going to be of what it is. That'll be the suspense, but you know something's coming. You know something's going to have some kind of sting, in a way, at the end. So like the Christmas one, the daughter, she's kind of standing in a weird spot, so she comes out holding the killer Santa's hand, and the mom screams. The future one I'll do, the ventriloquist dummy, at the end I'm like, okay, I know something's going to happen, and it does. So you're kind of waiting for it. But the acting was good. Dan Aykroyd did fine. I mean, to be fair, anybody could have played Dan Aykroyd's role. I'm sure he agreed because, wow, I get to work Kirk Douglas. Sure. Why not? But, I mean, anybody could have played... I mean, Dan Aykroyd did fine, but I'm just saying anybody could have played his role. It's not like anyone's going to go back and go, remember that great Dan Aykroyd role in Yellow? Kirk Douglas, it was interesting because he played kind of the counterpoint, the opposite side of what he did in Paths of Glory, where in that one he would have been the guy for Eric Douglas's character. Now he's on the other side, so I'm sure that was on purpose. And then it gives you food for thought of, is it truly cowardice or not to want to live and be afraid of dying? And again, the idea of the father worrying about how people think of him more so than his son's life. It tells a lot about a character. I mean, with Tales of the Crypt, you kind of expect the ghoulish, the horror, the gore. This doesn't have much of that. So maybe for some, it'd be, okay, a bit off the beaten path. But yeah, if this was meant for something else, then that makes a bit more sense. And in fact, let me give more details on that. It says here, was originally produced as part of a TV anthology pilot called Two-Fisted Tales, made by the same producers. Conceived as a more suspense thriller-driven series featuring a ghostly gunfighter played by William Sadler, was not picked up. Two of its segments, Yellow and King of the Road, were reworked into episodes of Crypt. The Two-Fisted Tales pilot did air as a TV movie several months after Yellow aired as this episode. And apparently Steven Spielberg was going to direct this episode, but Robert Zemeckis did. So again, I don't know if... yeah, if it's an anthology, sometimes pilots are feature length because they really want to get... Because some, they do make a... Okay, let me calm down a bit. Sometimes they do make a pilot a feature-length movie because if it's not picked up, then they can sell it as a movie. Even whether on VHS or cable, the new primetime movie. And that you reissue it like that. And sometimes this happened throughout the years where movies have come out that were meant to be the pilot of a show, but again, wasn't picked up, so... Just like this. TV movie in January 1992. Which I've never seen that TV movie. I would assume nothing was cut out because, it's 40 minutes, so it's pretty lengthy for an anthology. Or I don't know, maybe it was even cut down more. I don't know for certain, but. Of course, with this, they added the Tales from the Crypt, the Crypt Keeper parts, which is always cool to see the Crypt Keeper parts. John Kassir does a really good job as the voice of the Crypt Keeper. So that's always nice to hear and see him. I like the animatronics, the look. I'm actually curious about Tales from the Crypt. So I just want to see them real quick. That's weird. On Google, you used to have a thing where it could say news. Now it doesn't even have that anymore. What the hell? Oh, here it goes. Hidden. So I don't know if this is true. Someone says Tales from the Crypt returns for 2025. But I don't know if that's bullshit or not. That might be bullshit. I don't know. I don't know. Nobody else is saying this, so it might be bullshit. And real quick, like, this list. 10 people you didn't remember was in Tales from the Crypt. Leah Thompson. Michael J. Fox directed and starred in one. Demi Moore. Kirk Douglas, yeah. I guess Daniel Craig was in one. Ewan McGregor was in one. Steve Buscemi. Brad Pitt. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he directed one. Tom Hanks, he directed one and did a cameo. Yeah, I think because of all the producers involved, yeah, like Robert Zemeckis, Richard Donner. I think not just directors, but like Joel Silver, who was a big time producer. There's a lot of big people involved, and thus it drew people in. Hey, you want to join in? Hey, and then giving them opportunities to direct. Hey, will you have some fun here? So nothing wrong with that. That's pretty cool. And I know a lot of people. I know my friend Mike OCP. He's a diehard Tales from the Crypt fan. I think Stuntman Mark, who's a friend of mine, he's a big Tales. Like, they are much more knowledgeable on it than me. They could school me any and every day on Tales from the Crypt. I'm a newbie, but still, I mean, this is still a good episode. It's not one I would rewatch, because I think I'd be more towards like the more ghoulish, violent, crazy ones, but still a good one. Again, it wasn't originally meant for Tales of the Crypt, so it's kind of hard to be mad at it for that, but that's why it has a different feel. But still, it was good. With that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye for now.